Oh, hi, this is Rob Kramars with IntelliVersity. We're back here with Nascent Biologics, a fascinating company with a platform technology based here in San Diego. And I have to my right Mark Glassy, the CEO, and Charles Sir of Scripps Research Institute, who's one of the principal investigators of the company based here in San Diego. I want to remind you that this is a training video for entrepreneurs and investors about what works, and it's not a solicitation to sell securities or an offer, rather a solicitation to buy securities or an offer to sell securities. And in that light, let's go to the question, the burning question on everybody's mind is, how's it going? How's it going in the fundraising process? Keep it brief.
I guess the short answer is we're still looking for our mezzanine financing. We've raised some initial capital amongst friends and family to get where we are now.
All right.
But to get to the next level, and there's a three-tiered approach. One is manufacturing, then dealing with the FDA, and then getting further patents applied for our technology to add value to it. And we're looking for mezzanine funding to do that, and that could be looked at a number of ways. The amount is preferred is around $3 million, though we could probably do a little bit less than that. And that gets us where we need to be, dealing with the FDA. And that's the key milestone. Once we get the FDA response, then we feel confident that raising the next rounds of funds will be not an issue.
Well, knowing a little bit more about the company, how quickly do you think you can get to a license event with your first product, and could you get there with the $2 to $3 million sought?
Yes, actually, with the money coming in, they can almost be done pretty much at the same time. Coincidentally, maybe one before the other, but they're pretty close how they can do that. I'm anticipating some kind of licensing event in 2012.
I see.
I think there's potentially some deals that could be fruitful, but you don't know how these things go until the ink is signed. And in terms of the mezzanine financing, they kind of go part with each other. Being able to prove that we're moving it forward shows that we have the capital to do that, and to get the capital to do that, we need to move it forward. So that's how those scenarios go.
If you do have a licensing event in 2012, why would you need additional capital? Wouldn't that be sufficient to capitalize further product development?
That's a good question. It depends on the nature of the licensing deal, and they can come in so many flavors, and I don't want to necessarily say conservative, but we have to look at all alternatives and approaches.
All right.
And I'm being thorough. And if one comes through and that's worth what we want, then we're fine. But if not, then if it doesn't come through and you don't know until you know, I don't want to have to all of a sudden ramp up again and go to another level and do that. Everything is going forward. All battlefields are moving forward, and all fronts are active, and then the one that comes through is the one that will get our attention.
All right. So, more on a personal level, what's it been like raising funds? What's been your personal experience from both of you in the fundraising process? Charlie?
Well, I have done only little, and I kind of help Mark and introduce, people. But I think it's been extremely difficult. But Mark probably knows much more in detail than I do.
Yeah, I'd say it started difficult, then gone down from there. And starting essentially a biomedical company from essentially zero has been, quite frankly, it's been tougher than I thought because of the technology, the people I know, and this is again before the economy went south. I thought this would be a fairly straightforward thing to do. But because of that, then there's no paradigm, there's no manual you can follow that shows you what to do. So you have to kind of do your necessarily best guess, but you have to rely on guts and intuition and yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you go nowhere. So that's part of all this.
Well, that's important.
The economy has been what it is, so you have to have alternative ways of moving forward, and if you don't believe in it desperately and passionately, then you're in the wrong business.
Could you help us understand, give us the most significant challenge you faced since starting the company and conquered?
From my perspective, it was finding the right collaborator to make the antibodies that are based on platform technology.
Yeah.
And I think we have probably finally succeeded that.
Yeah.
And to me, that was the hardest part.
I see. Very important. And from your perspective, Mark?
Yeah, I would, Charlie's correct in from his shoes, and he's hit that right on the head, but from being the CEO, I have to look at it a little bit differently. To me, the hardest thing was getting the story together in a cohesive way that could be understood by others. And that meaning looking at both the platform and our product, lead product, and how they could both work together and how there's a synergy there. And it just, to me, is getting all that together as a cohesive, easy to tell story, like you say, 30-second elevator pitch, get it done.
Yeah.
And that's been, for me, the toughest part.
It could be a little less technical, but you're getting there. You're getting there. What do you, other than that, what do you have to teach other entrepreneurs, particularly in the life sciences, about the fundraising process?
Sure, I'd say philosophically, you could say every time you hear a no, that's one more no, you're closer to a yes. So you can look at it that way. The other side is don't give up. If you committed to the work, the technology, the people, your team, then you don't give up.
All right, fair enough. Charlie?
I think persistence. I think you have to let your passion drive your goal. I mean, you can't give up. And if you believe in that much more, then you're gonna be able to persist.
What I detect in you is a steely patience.
Yes.
It doesn't take long, does it?
Yes, a gutsy form of patience. There must have been times when you just wanted to throw up your hands and say, "This is not going to happen. It's not going to work. I have the wrong team," and you defied your own impulsiveness and kept with it.
Right. I think you have to count up to 10 at that point,
Mhm.
and then take a breather and come back to it later.
Yes.
Right.
Interesting.
I count to 15. It takes a little longer.
So what would you do different, each of you, in the fundraising process?
Wow, I don't know if there was much of doing different.
I think we should have started the company or invented the technology about 10 years earlier, when the economy was better. But other than that, I don't know what else we could have done different.
I guess from I don't know how this will sound, but you can't work any harder, but you can work smarter.
Okay.
And I can't work any harder because there's so many hours in a day, but you can work smarter by getting the right people around you that you share that vision and can help you move along.
So do you think you would have built a larger advisory board earlier in the process?
That's probably, I could not argue out of that, quite frankly. Now that you say that as it is, knowing that now, what you know, if I was wise as I was 4 years ago, of course you'd be doing things faster, smarter, better, more prepared. But that's what wisdom and age brings you by being in the system for so long. Is sure getting a good team, and I think now we have a good team that not only from the business side, but the scientific side, the consultant side.
Well, are you satisfied with your advisory team, not your management team?
Oh yes.
At this point?
Yes. Yeah, I'd say that's a true
The
statement.
depth and very
yes.
balance on your advisory team, from the fundraising, business, legal, regulatory.
The ones I have now, yes. Yeah, I've got some key people now who can help me where I admittedly have deficiencies. Yeah.
So just to repeat, there is something to learn there about building your advisory team earlier in the
Yes,
process.
I agree with that.
Might have sped up the ability to move through this difficult fundraising process.
Well, on one side that's true. The other side, if we sped it up, then we wouldn't have been here.
Always a benefit. So on that note, this is Rob Kramars with Nascent Biologics. I'm Mark Glassy and Charlie Sir. I hope you learned something from this. Please call us or write us if there's anything more you'd like to learn about Nascent Biologics and their experience in the fundraising process. Thank you very much.